Okay, so you know when something big is happening, like something that affects your everyday life,
Right.
like the state budget,
Hmm.
and you want to know what's going on, but like
Yeah.
reading through all that stuff is just a headache.
Totally.
So that's what we're doing today.
Yeah,
We're gonna break down the Tamil Nadu budget,
We are, yeah.
like your cheat sheet.
Yeah,
Right? We read through it all, so you don't have to.
Yeah, we've taken all that information, all those reports,
Yeah.
the finance minister's statements,
Yeah.
all the analysis, and
Yeah.
kind of synthesized it down to the important stuff.
Yeah, so we can figure out what's actually going on.
Exactly.
Like, where's the money going? But, like,
Right.
the bigger picture, too.
Yeah.
The challenges, the strategy.
Geostrategy.
Where's Tamil Nadu headed?
All of that. And
we can't ignore the 2026 assembly elections, right?
you
Looming everything for everyone. That's a bold statement.
It is.
So let's see how this budget is going to,
Right.
try to actually do that.
Yeah.
And what's going to get in the way, right?
Totally.
So we'll talk about balancing growth with debt, the whole relationship with the central government,
Yeah.
which is always a thing.
Complicated.
Revenue, how they're going to make money, the deficit,
Yeah.
and then those big investments that,
Huge investments.
they're making
Yeah.
for the long term.
Yep. Let's get into it.
All right, let's start with that everything for everyone idea.
Okay.
I mean, it sounds pretty big, right?
Huge. Yeah. And you see that in the budget itself.
Okay.
Like, they're not just focusing on roads and bridges.
Right.
We're seeing initiatives for archaeology, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
Preserving their history and identity, and then
Yeah.
big investments in new technology, like AI.
So it's like they're trying to hit every
They're trying to do everything, every part of,
yeah, all the needs and aspirations.
yeah, no stone unturned.
Exact.
And a big piece of that seems to be education. Yes.
Especially at the higher level, like colleges and stuff.
Right. Higher education.
Yeah, and it seems like they're trying to create like
Yeah.
job creators,
Yes.
Not just people who are going to go look for jobs.
Yeah. A generation of innovators, entrepreneurs,
Right.
people who are going to build things.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
That's a long-term strategy.
Right.
Building that capacity for future growth.
Yeah, and speaking of long term, let's talk about debt.
Okay.
They're projecting 9.3 lakh crore for the next fiscal year.
Yeah. That's a big number.
That gets your attention.
Absolutely.
But we got to look at it in context.
Right.
Debt to GSDP ratio.
Right.
That's comparing the total debt to the size of the economy.
The whole economy, right?
Like the gross state domestic product.
Yeah.
So it stands at 26.7%.
Okay.
That's important because
Yeah.
the 15th Finance Commission recommended a cap of 28%.
Right.
So 9.3 lakh crore is big.
It is.
But compared to how much the state's economy produces,
Right.
it's still considered manageable.
Okay.
It's within the guidelines.
That's helpful context.
Yeah. But the finance minister did have some concerns
Oh, yeah.
about what's causing this debt,
Like what?
especially the relationship with the central government.
Right.
He specifically mentioned GST.
GST, yeah, the goods and services tax.
Yeah, the idea was to create a unified national market,
Right.
but it also took away some of the state's power.
You had to control their own taxes.
Right, to raise their own revenue.
Right. Less fiscal independence.
Yeah, and then there's UDAY, the Power Sector Reform Scheme.
Usual Discom Assurance UHANA.
Yes, that.
It's added to their financial obligations.
So it feels like the state has less and less control
Yeah.
over its own finances.
Less room to maneuver.
Yeah, and then there's the whole issue with grants and aid.
Right.
The central government is supposed to be giving them money,
Yeah.
but they're saying that it's being withheld.
They feel like they're not getting what they're owed.
Right.
So, yeah, they're feeling the pinch.
Yeah, and it might get worse.
Oh, really?
The 16th Finance Commission,
Yeah.
they're thinking about reducing the state's share of central taxes.
Oh, right.
So right now it's 41%.
Okay.
It could go down to 40.
1% doesn't sound like a lot.
No.
Right.
For a big state like Tamil Nadu,
Yeah.
that's a lot of money.
It could be a huge difference.
Yeah, so a lot of external pressures there.
Yeah, for sure.
So let's look at how Tamil Nadu is making its own money,
Right.
their state's own tax revenue, so TR.
Okay.
It's been kind of a mixed bag.
How so?
In the last fiscal year, they almost hit their target.
Okay.
They wanted 1.95 lakh crore. They got 1.92.
Oh, so close.
Yeah, some areas did really well, like taxes on motor vehicles.
People love their cars and bikes.
Apparently.
I think seems like it.
But then stamp duty was a bit lower than they hoped.
Stamp duty. Okay.
That usually shows how the real estate market is doing.
Right. Fewer property transactions.
Yeah, so some parts of the economy are doing well.
Yeah.
Others not so much.
It's always a mix.
And then there's excise duty, the tax on alcohol.
Right.
It seems like this government is doing things differently.
Different how?
Well, they're not trying to sell more alcohol.
Right.
You know, they're not opening more shops.
Right.
We're extending the hours.
Even though that would bring in more money.
Yeah, it seems like they're putting social well-being first,
Interesting.
not just trying to get as much tax revenue as possible.
Yeah, prioritizing something other than the bottom line.
But when it comes to GST, the news is good.
Okay.
Tamil Nadu's collections are growing faster than the national average.
That's great.
And it's not just luck.
What are they doing?
They're using technology.
Oh, wow.
Drones to monitor mining areas?
Drones?
Yeah, to prevent tax evasion.
Wow.
AI to analyze tax patterns.
Interesting.
And real-time tracking systems to,
Catch the loopholes.
plug the leaks.
Make sure all the money is coming in.
Yeah.
It's a really modern approach.
It is.
Using tech to make things more efficient.
Right. So all this is important for managing the fiscal deficit.
The deficit. Yeah.
They want to reduce it to 3% of GSDP next year.
Okay.
At 3.44% now.
So a decent drop?
Quite ambitious.
How are they going to do that?
Well, first, they're going after idle funds.
Idle funds, what's that?
Money that's just sitting in bank accounts.
Okay.
Because projects have been delayed.
Oh, I see.
They're hoping to recover 11,000 crore.
That's a lot of money.
It's like finding a bunch of cash you forgot about.
Yeah, on a huge scale.
Exactly.
Government scale.
And they're also implementing this in-time release system.
In-time release.
Yeah, so the money is available when it's needed.
So projects don't get delayed.
Right.
And the money doesn't just sit there.
And the drones.
Right, the drones.
They're not just for revenue.
No.
They're also preventing tax evasion in mining. People underreport their mining activity.
Trying to avoid taxes.
And that costs the state money.
Right.
So they're using drones to keep an eye on things.
Smart.
Technology is everywhere.
It is, yeah.
So let's talk about where the money is going.
Oh, yeah.
The investments.
The adjustments, yeah.
Capital expenditures going up by 22.4%.
Wow.
To 57,231 crore.
That's a lot.
Yeah. They're really committed to the future.
Yeah. What are they focusing on?
Big infrastructure projects.
Like what?
A new reservoir near Chennai.
A reservoir.
Yeah, the city needs more water.
Makes sense.
Elevated corridors to reduce traffic.
Oh, yeah. Traffic is always a problem.
And new airports.
New airports.
To improve connectivity.
Right. Connect to the world.
All those things that help the economy grow.
Yeah, the foundations.
And that's not just physical infrastructure.
Yeah.
There's also a big boost for higher education.
Okay.
700 crore more.
Wow.
They want research-driven universities.
Research-driven.
Yeah, and they're going to link the funding to the quality of the research proposals.
Oh, so they have to prove it's worth it.
Exactly. They want results.
Yeah, making sure the money is well spent.
And then there's this big plan for laptops and tablets.
Okay.
2,000 crore for 20 lakh college students.
Wow. So many students.
Over the next 2 years.
That's a big initiative.
Yeah, you could see it as a political move.
Right, with the elections coming up.
Appealing to young voters.
Yeah.
But it could also be a real investment.
If they're good devices.
Yeah, high quality.
Yeah.
That actually helps students learn.
Right, supporting their education.
The finance minister said they don't want cheap or outdated technology.
Okay.
They want quality at a competitive price.
That makes sense.
We've all seen those government-issued devices
Yeah.
that are more trouble than they're worth.
You end up not even using them.
Exactly. So they're trying to avoid that.
Okay.
And then there's the Global City Project.
Global City.
Yeah, 2,000 acres near Chennai.
2,000 acres.
It's supposed to be a self-sustaining, futuristic urban hub.
Wow, like a whole new city.
Pretty much.
And where is it exactly?
They're not saying
Why not?
geographical limitations, apparently.
Around Chennai.
Yeah, the finance minister even joked about Chennai being limited by the Bay of Bengal.
Oh, I see.
So it's a long-term thing.
Yeah, lots of planning to do.
But it's a big vision.
It is, yeah.
But not everything is so forward-looking.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, there's the issue of the old pension scheme.
OPS, right?
Yeah, government employees want it back.
Yeah,
But the government has deferred a decision.
they have said yes or no.
No, they want to look at the new unified pension scheme first.
The one from the central government.
Yeah, they want to see how that works out.
Understandably, some people are upset.
Yeah, they wanted a clear answer.
All right.
It's a big financial decision.
Long-term implications.
Yeah, for the whole state.
For sure.
But looking ahead, Tamil Nadu has this big goal.
What's that?
They want to be a $1 trillion economy
By when?
by 2030.
Wow, that's ambitious.
It is, but it might not be impossible.
Really?
Their GSDP's been growing at 19.9% per year.
That's impressive.
Yeah, even faster than Maharashtra and Karnataka.
So they're on a good track.
If they keep this up, it could happen.
Wow, $1 trillion.
The finance minister even quoted CN Annadurai
Oh,
talking about state autonomy being enchanting but distant.
okay.
And then he said this $1 trillion goal is enchanting and achievable.
So it's about connecting?
Yeah, their economic goals with their political history.
Right, their identity.
So when you look at the whole budget,
Yeah.
it's all about balance.
Balance.
Big plans, big goals,
Right.
but they have to manage their finances,
Yeah.
deal with the debt.
And the central government,
It's complicated,
always.
but Tamil Nadu has a history of finding a way.
They're resilient.
They get things done.
Yeah. Even with obstacles.
So hopefully this deep dive has given you a better picture
A clearer understanding.
of what's going on,
Yeah.
their strategies, their challenges, their aspirations.
Right, we've covered a lot.
And it's all connected.
It is. Yeah.
Managing debt, raising revenue,
Investments.
long-term growth,
That's all part of the plan.
and a holistic approach.
Exactly.
So here's something to think about.
Okay.
Tamil Nadu has this track record.
Of success.
Yeah, of navigating these complex situations,
Right.
especially with the central government.
It's always a factor.
So what new solutions will they need
Yeah.
to reach that $1 trillion goal
By 2030.
while also being responsible
Fiscally responsible.
and maintaining their own identity?
Right. Their own unique place in India.
It's about ambition
Yeah.
and the reality of politics.
It's always there.
It's fascinating.
It is.
A lot to think about.
For sure.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
We'll see you next time.
See you then.